All right. Okay. I think we're good there. Now, let's see if. Gotta be kidding. Uh, YouTube. Okay. It says I'm live. Okay. All right. We got. Okay. I like that. I like the way that's set up. Okay. Let's get delete channel. Almost there. Let's add channel. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Now why isn't this running? Gotta be kidding me. Oh boy. All right, we're working on YouTube. YouTube is okay. So for some reason I cannot get on Facebook Live. I'm still broadcasting. Nice. What? Now why isn't this? All right, folks. We're still working on getting. Okay. We'll gotta gotta be kidding me. Why isn't this? on. What I was using before. Oh, there we go. Oh, here we are on. Alrighty, everybody, we are live on Facebook. Yeah, it just took me a while to finally get everything working on here. Let's go check YouTube. YouTube, we're good. All right, we've been on YouTube for quite a while. So, I know why wow, I'm doing this without OBS. That's why it's working differently. Oh boy, and it looks like I'm getting really good quality here. Hey, great. There's no lag or anything. All right, cool. All right, Scott Patterson joined in. Hey, today we're going to talk about who were the big winners at the state assembly a couple weeks ago. First of all, I want to apologize for not being on the air the last few weeks. Let's see what happened. Well, I was on vacation. Yeah, I was down at the Enstrom Ranch down in Bristol, Colorado. Tried to do some turkey hunting there. Uh, Sadly, no luck, no bird, but caught a ton of fish. Rick was not kidding when he said that you're going to catch a buttload of fish within an hour. So the first day, I caught a 4 pound largemouth bass. The Scooter is on. Good to see you, Scooter. Uh, I want to shout out to Scooter McGee for giving me a shout out for this show on his show last week. Scooter, if you want me to fill in for you, I'd be honored to fill in for you. Just let's work out the details later on. Okay, so we are going to talk about who are the winners in the state assembly, in the Republican state assembly and the Democrat state assembly, and who were the winners and who were the losers, and what the heck happened. What else happened? There was a big hubbub over a House Bill 18 1436. We're going to talk about that. And also, we are going to talk about I passed my exam. Yeah, I took the exam for the the FAA Part 107 drone certification. That was another reason why I hadn't been on the air the last few weeks, is because I was preparing for the exam. And we'll talk about that and what it takes, what you need to know to pass an exam like this, and how good the license is, and all that sort of neat stuff. And we will close out with some drone news. There's some very interesting things out there that those of you in the political realm would be interested to know about. This is more laws that added to the books that are just going to slow things down and make it an even bigger headache for us drone pilots. All right. Excuse me. Let's get back to the state assembly. Let's see who's the big winners. Okay, on the Republican side, Walker Stapleton was the big winner. He got 40% of the vote, and the rest were split up with all the other candidates that decided to go through the state assembly route. And it was a big surprise that Greg Lopez made it to the ballot with, I think, 30% of the vote. Or I think you need at least 30% to make it onto the ballot, which is great. I like Greg. I've met him. Excuse me. He's a former mayor of Parker, Colorado. Great guy. Really knows what he's talking about. Hey, Steve. Welcome to the show. Steve Epstein, comedian with a porpoise. Anyway, that's just another sidebar. Which is great. But the people that petitioned on are Victor Mitchell and Doug Robinson. It looked like Doug wasn't going to make the ballot because he was like just a few signatures shy of making it on the ballot, but the courts intervened and they said that he was good to go. So, and I like Greg, Greg Robbins. Greg Lopez. That's interesting. Anyway, he's a good guy. Victor Mitchell, he likes to tout that he's the outsider. Yet he was a politician. So you can't be an outsider when you've been in the state assembly and you crafted some of the laws that are on the books right now. So that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Although I think he would make a fine governor. Thing about it, he's got tons of money, and he's loaned himself $3 million for this campaign. So, and he's about $1.5 million ahead of Walker Stapleton, which I think he's got a very good shot at winning this. He's very likable. He's already won 2 statewide elections, and he's the only candidate to beat Kerry Kennedy, who is one of the primary challengers that she won big time. She got 60% of the vote, and Jared Polis just barely, no, he didn't just barely, he got 41% of the vote. So, and Mike Johnston, he's petitioning on the ballot. So they got a 3-way race there. And it could get ugly because a lot of Democrats don't like Jared Polis because they think he's just too radical for the state, especially in the statewide election. Uh, he's a congressman from the second district, which is a very Democrat uh, stronghold there, and so he wins that all the time. So I don't. They're trying to get someone who can win a statewide election. Now, I believe Kerry Kennedy was defeated when she was the treasurer by Walker Stapleton, and then she ran against Walker Stapleton another time and was defeated again. However, here's the kicker: she has been tainted by the Mayor Hancock scandal brewing here in Denver, Colorado. There's a big to do about Mayor Hancock and an escort service prior to when he was mayor of Denver, and how they have been paying people hush money using taxpayer dollars. And also, Mayor Hancock was involved in a inappropriate texting to one of his former bodyguards or detectives, actually. Uh, and for some reason, Kerry Kennedy has no idea who paid these people when she is the city treasurer who cuts these checks. So she should know uh, who cut those checks, because I believe her signature is probably on those checks that went to Mary Branch Wise, who was the detective who Michael Hancock was inappropriately texting. And also, Mayor Hancock's former best friend, they also had to pay him an out of court for a settlement to settle that deal. So that's on the Democrat side. And lately I've been seeing TV commercials for Mike Johnston. He's not even from Colorado, he's from Mississippi. Got a teaching degree from Mississippi, became a teacher here in Denver, was a principal at an at-risk school, and turned it around, supposedly turned it around. So it's, oh, and then he claims he's fought the NRA and won twice. That's a bunch of baloney. So I really don't take anything that guy says as gospel, because you got to remember, Democrats, they really don't like the truth, because the truth does not advance their cause, because they think it's easier to lie to someone and make promises like Santa Claus. And Jared Polis, he wants 100% renewable energy here in Colorado by, I think it is 2040, which is, that is impossible. And he's about as radical as they come. And if he gets elected, and the Democrats, if they ever get control of the state assembly, they will shut down oil and gas here in Colorado. Mining will be a done deal, because they will be doing this all for their environmental buddies. So here's and Kerry Kennedy. She's going to run like she's going to pretend that she's a moderate, but you know how that happens. Hickenlooper did the same thing. He had that, oh gosh, personality, and he's a likable guy. But when he got in, he was just as liberal as they come. So on the Republican side, like I said, we got Walker Stapleton, we got Greg Lopez, we got Greg Robinson, we got Victor Mitchell. So we got 4 people running. The biggest loser was Cynthia Kaufman. Now, you would think she would do fairly well. She's got the name recognition, being an ex-wife of Congressman Mike Kaufman, Attorney General of Colorado, served 1 term, but she delivered a blistering speech at the state assembly that just pretty much sunk her chances of getting on the ballot. And then there were some other smaller candidates. Luke Gator, I think he got a couple hundred votes, and Steve Barlock, I think he got like 5%. Who else was there? Oh, and then there was Farah was in, and he was way back in the pack. And then there was one new person who got in it, and which her name's escapes me, but Lou Gator did something really nice where he nominated her on the stage, which I thought that was a pretty gracious thing to do. So now on the treasurer side, Justin Everett won big time. He pretty much cleared the field of all the people that went to the state assembly. However, Polly Lawrence and Brian Watson petitioned on, and I believe they are on the ballot. So Justin, hey, good job. Glad you made it to the ballot. Big surprise that Britta Horn didn't do as well. I thought she would have made it on the ballot as well. But those are the folks that made it on the Republican side for state treasurer. And I don't know who made it on the Democrat side, which really, I think it's 1 or 2 people that are running, because after Lebsack got kicked out of the state assembly, I don't think he's a candidate for state treasurer. So, and besides, he changed party affiliation, so he couldn't get on the ballot as a Republican running for state treasurer. So that's what's going on there. So we've got an interesting race. The primary is June 26th, I believe. And so you're going to see a lot of stuff on television. You're going to get a lot of mailers. This is the part that annoys me, because the TV is going to be flooded with candidates saying, vote for me, vote for me. I'm better than he is. And then you're going to start seeing some mud being flung around, and hopefully this campaign will stay fairly clear. However, I think it's going to be different in the treasurer's race. Be sure to see Justin Sling Mudd at both Holly and Bryan, uh, because he's an RMGO guy, and that's how those guys roll. Because they are they're the bottom feeders of politicians, because they don't believe in that Reagan 11th commandment, thou shalt not speak ill of other Republican primary candidates. Because what ends up happening, if that person wins, then, or ends up losing, because normally they do, because if you're slinging mud, that just shows the people, hey, I don't have anything to offer to compare and contrast what I would do compared to them. So he's got to fling mud at them. So what'll happen is, if one or two of the other candidates win, the Democrat candidate is going to use the mud that Justin has flung against the other two to try to win that race. And that's just, I've seen RMGO candidates do despicable things like this in the past, and they've lost. I mean, look at Janet Joshi. He ran a real nasty campaign against Larry Liston, and it backfired on him. People did not like that, and Larry won. Larry had been a state rep from that district. He was defeated by Janet Joshi, and Janet, I think, served a couple terms and was finally defeated by Larry Liston. And then we have some other minor candidates running around. Oh, while we're talking about this, we have some libertarian candidates and other third-party candidates running in key competitive districts, which really could flip the state Senate to the Democrats. And I don't think we have a very good chance of winning back the House, because the Democrats, they're like 5 seats up on us, and we need to win 3 to have a one seat lead. So that's how that goes. So Beth Humenick has a libertarian running in her district, and her opponent is Faith Me Too Winners. And she's the one that leveled the sexual harassment charges against Steve Lebsack, who was ousted from the state assembly. But before he was ousted, he changed party affiliation, and the Republicans were able to fill his seat with Alexander Skinny Winkler, which I think he's only going to serve the remainder of this term. I hope he could hold on to that seat. That would be really nice if he could hold on to that seat, because then that gives us one more seat to control in the House. So that's the game changer. And then there's Adam Mikowski. He's running as I guess unaffiliated, and I think his beef is that Beth Humenick is just not conservative enough, and voted against some social issues that really rubbed him the wrong way. So now she's got 2 candidates that could split Republican votes, and cause her to lose that seat. In Senate District 16, that's Tim Neville's district. He's got a libertarian candidate, and I think Tim can hold on to the seat, but it's going to be a real nail biter because when Tim won, he won with 51% of the vote. Now with the Libertarian in the race, he could end up with less than 49% of the vote, which will give the Democrat the majority. Because I've seen Libertarians get anywhere up to 6% and really screw up some races. And then in Senate District 20, which is an open seat, there's also a Libertarian running there, and that Libertarian, or the last election, there was a Libertarian, and the Libertarian handed that seat over to the Democrat as well, who this last session, Sherry John, the incumbent, changed her party affiliation from Democrat to Independent because, well, she's a moderate Democrat, and and that's how Tracy Kraft Tharp is going to run this year because, well, that's how she ran the last 3 cycles. She defeated the incumbent Robert Ramirez back in 2012, and she's held that seat ever since. And she's running against a real knucklehead, Grady Newis, who's running hard right, and I think he's going to lose by a bigger margin than Susan Kochevar did. and Susan, I like Susan, but she just would not walk the precinct. She just did not. I think she just ran it as a vanity campaign to say, hey, I ran for State House twice. I lost twice. Last time she ran, she only raised $7,000. She was just horrible at raising money. And she alienated a lot of Republicans and a lot of, that's why she couldn't get the money. And then also having Matt Benedict Arnold as her agent, that probably scared away a lot of donors right there. And that's what's going on. That's how the races are shaping up. The Sunday after the primary, we'll have a show about that. So now let's talk about this HB 18 something or other. HB 18 14, 36. And it is about what this is about. It's is it a mental health bill, or is this a gun confiscation bill? And here's the gist of the bill. And what it is, it allows the police to do a mental evaluation on a person and kind of, well, take the guns away from that guy. And this is to stop the James Holmes and the that other kids in Parkland, Florida. This is to stop those kinds of shootings where you have someone who has a clean record, but has mental issues, decides to go purchase a weapon and start shooting up a school or a theater or wherever you see one of those stupid little stickers that say gun-free zone. I I mean, if that's not an invitation for a mass shooting, what else? You know? So there are people on the liberty side of the Republican Party. They're all screeching that oh, this is nothing but gun grabbing, but you got District Attorney George Brockler, who worked with Cole Wiss on crafting this bill and there are several provisions in it on due process, and it gives the people, if they are no longer a threat to society, can get their weapons back. So it's not like they could say that he's nuts and the guy can never get his guns back. But I am going to play a wait and see where this goes. My feelings are I think it's going to die in the Senate because I think there are enough really conservative Republicans who have serious questions about this bill. But from what I've been reading about it, I'm trying to be fair-minded about this. If it sounded like this was just a pure gun confiscation bill, I'd be against it. But George Brockler, he's not one of those rhinos. He's pretty solidly conservative. He's pro-gun rights, pro Second Amendment, same thing. And he's a lawyer, so he knows a lot about the law and how to make a bill that has a lot of due process in it, so people are just not losing their guns on a whim. So, and then there's a lot of people that are all squawking and screaming, "Oh, I'm not going to vote for that guy." It's like, yeah, great. So you want a Democrat being our Attorney General. How'd that work out when Salazar was our Attorney General? Probably one of the worst Attorney Generals Colorado had in this century. I mean, the state assembly, they passed a voucher bill, and this would allow people in poor neighborhoods to send their kids to better school. And since Ken Salazar is a Democrat and is beholden to the teachers union, took this to the state Supreme Court and had the bill or the law killed because, well, the state Supreme Court cited an old state amendment called the Blaine Amendment, which is a very bigoted amendment that was originally added to the state constitution back when the state became a state to prevent Catholic schools from getting funding. So it was more of an anti-Catholic amendment. So that's what that was all about. And then, then he later became a senator, and then he was in the Obama administration. Let's not go there. All right, we got some people here: Shelley Oswald, Bradley Tread. Is it Tread or Tready? Brad will have to. And Ed Kalo, we got some Kimball grad. Sheila's in. All right, thanks for joining the show. What else? So that's the big hubbub about that. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out down the road. So let's get to some drone news. Part of the reason why I haven't been on the air was a couple weeks ago I was studying for my exam to get my Part 107 drone certification. And so I was studying that whole weekend and several days prior to that to get my certificate so that I can make money with my drone. And you're probably wondering, well, how can you make money with the drone? Well, the thing, it'll be mostly video or photography. And most of my clients will be realtors who want this helps them to sell property. And what you do is you take your drone and you do some shots over the building, around the building, and then people could get a better view of the house from a different perspective that they can't get from a ground level. They can also get a see what the shape of the roof is, if it has any chimneys, if the chimney's in good shape, how big is the yard? Is the yard in good shape? What's and you could back away from the property and you could get a better view of the neighborhood. You can see, oh, is it near a busy street? Is it near a school? Is it near a rec center where kids could go swimming or play basketball? Is it all sorts of things that could give a potential buyer more information about that property? And also another thing you could use the drone for is building inspection. You could say you own an apartment complex, and rather than sending a guy up on a ladder and going around looking on the roof, you just send a drone up there and fly over, and you get a better perspective of any defects on the apartment roof from above, rather than someone standing on the roof who can't see a defect that might be out of their sight. And that's one way. Or you can inspect power lines, you can inspect transmission towers, TV and radio towers. You go inspect the towers, see if there's a light bulb burned out. And those light bulbs are important to help people flying aircraft to make sure that they avoid that area so they don't collide with that antenna. And also with construction, if you are building a new home, an apartment complex, a large building. I could take photographs of that property uh, either every so many minutes, or maybe I could come back and I could take a photograph and come back the next day, take the photograph again. Then you could kind of get a a vision of how the construction is progressing. And I can also inspect well sites, whether they are gas or oil wells out there. For farming, I can inspect barns, grain silos. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there with drones, and the technology is evolving so quickly. I mean, who knows? Maybe in a few weeks from now, the technology might be to where it could give you another avenue of the business. So uh, this gives me an opportunity to supplement my income and possibly making it a full-time job. Who knows? But I love flying drones it- because part of the thing is I love nature, and I like to do some nature stuff. For example, when I was down at Rick's Ranch, I got a chance to fly the drone around his corral there, and I flew it out to a couple of the ponds on his ranch and got some really cool video out there. I hope to go back later this spring and get some more really excellent video and add that to my portfolio. So you're probably saying, so Art, what do you have to know to take this exam? Well, it is almost like a lighter version of getting your pilot's license, your private pilot license, without having to uh, take a plane out and actually go up there with an instructor, kind of like a driving test. I have to know weather. I have to know how to read charts. I have to know terminology like MSL and AGL. MSL is mean sea level, and that's what your altimeter is set for on your aircraft. AGL is above ground level, and what we like to jokingly say, that's how far you're going to fall from your plane or your drone. Uh, and then, for example, say you're flying out to a tower, a radio tower that has a light on top, and you got to find out, okay, how high can I fly? Okay, that tower has two different numbers. There's the MSL and the AGL. Uh, but your AGL is your above ground level. So you're allowed to fly 400 feet above the tower. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your AGL numbers and add 400 to that, and that's how high you can fly over that tower. That's the maximum height. And then you gotta know, okay, things that are required to be to have a drone certification, and one of them is to understand, read, and speak in English. Uh, that is a universal thing, not just for drone pilots, but it's for all private pilots and commercial aviation. So if you are flying outside the United States, all pilots have to communicate in English. And also, it used to be the minimum age was 16. Now I believe it's uh, 14 now. And you got to be in good physical shape. Just because you have a disability doesn't preclude you from operating a drone, which is good for me. Nice, I got good hand-eye coordination, and so that doesn't disqualify me from flying a drone. What else? Oh, and you gotta understand airspace. You got several different types of airspace. You got your Bravo airspace, that's your B airspace, and your Charlie, and your Delta, and Echo. And you gotta know what those mean, what colors they are on the charts, and what uh, if you like on airspace, think of it as an upside down wedding cake where it gets bigger at the top. But since drones can only go up to 400 feet maximum, uh, but that's maximum above ground level. Unless you're flying over your assigned uh, target, say your job is to fly over this building. Well, it's the height of the building plus 400 feet. And you gotta know about restricted airspace, uh, MOAs, which are military operations area. You gotta know when you can fly through those areas and when you can't. I mean, there's so many things you have to know. And what I did is I signed up for an online class called Remote Pilot 101, and it's 150 bucks, but it's good for life. So when you're ready to take the exam again in 2 years, that's how long the certification lasts. Every 2 years, you got to take the exam over. You can go back and you can study. And there are going to be new questions that may show up on the next exam. So it prepares you that way. And having that class really helped me out because what I did was once I went through all the different levels and took the exams after each level. And then what I did is I took the final and then I practiced. It got me to remember certain terms and airspace. I mean, it really prepared me. But when I took the exam, it was a lot harder than I thought it was. But I passed, which is good. So that's all about what you have to take to get your exam. So let's get to some of the drone news. Now there's some states are working on a provision to, I guess, supersede any regulations by the FAA. Basically, this is to help out those what are the attorneys? You know, these I call them ambulance chasers. You know, that like to file lawsuits at the drop of a hat for any little reason. Basically, what it is, they're trying to limit you from flying. You have to be above 200 feet above a residence area. They're trying to say that the residents expect privacy up to 200 feet above their homes or their car, whatever. And I think it's a ridiculous thing to have. I think all it is it's giving more lawsuits to these big law companies that you see on TV. They're saying, hey, if this happened to you, call us and we'll give you millions of bucks. We'll win. Blah, 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 blah. Trial lawyers. That's the term I was looking for. And it is a bad law. I learned about this from Ken Herron. He does a live streaming show on YouTube on Thursday nights. I'm going to check back here. Nobody is. Oh, okay. I got one listener on. Great. Cute. All right. And Ken, you gotta watch his show. He's got a partner on there. Dana Williams. I don't know if you know that name. He is the bass player from the country band Diamond Rio, and he's an avid drone pilot himself. And they do a wonderful show on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock Mountain Time here, and it's 7 o'clock Central, and then 8 o'clock Eastern. But Ken's a really interesting guy. He's the radio guy. He's got really good comedic talent. If you watch his videos on his channel, Ken Herron Aerial Photography, you won't be disappointed. He's very entertaining. He also has giveaways on his show where he'll give away a drone or some accessories for drones, like battery charger, propellers and whatnot, carrying bag, stuff like that. That he makes it a really good show. So check him out. And he also brings out guests, and they talk about drone news, and then they show outrageous videos and drone flying. Like there are people they're making drones where it's like you sit in it and you get to fly around in it. And it's like, wow. The only problem is if you fall, you're going to be hitting the instant Vegematic with the props. I don't know, something about those blades whirling around just inches away from me kind of makes me a little nervous. So they show stuff like that. And then they showed this Russian guy who took a stock drone, and he set a record altitude flight with it. He got his drone up to 30,000 feet. And I want to know, what was the signal strength that he had on that? He must have had a really awesome transmitter that could reach those heights. The problem is here with the DJI drones, they've got a built-in restriction on the drones where you can only fly 400 feet above whatever your target is. So it's kind of like having a governor on your car to keep you from getting over, driving over 65 miles an hour, which is really crappy. Or they'll show some really, really awesome drone footage from people around the world. They submit their videos to a show, and it's like, wow, that gives me ideas for, that's how good I want to be a professional drone videographer. So it's a good show. Also want to let you know about my new YouTube channels. I have, besides Art's Place, I have a drone channel. It's called ArtCo Drone Solutions, and that's going to be the name of the company that I am starting up. And I will have a website up very quickly. The other one is Art's Place Fishing Channel. That's going to be just fishing right there. And then there's my cooking channel. It's going to be called Chef Boy RT. Yeah, sounds nice, don't it? So I'm expanding my channel, try to get more content out there, and make a few bucks doing that. All right. Yeah, Janine is in the house. That's great. Oh, Jason. Yeah, all right. Jason the man is in the house. And Vincent and Maria Gonzalez. Michael Corby. All right. Janine likes my channel, Chef Boy RT. Yeah. So that is going to be it. And so thank you for coming to my show. And have a great weekend. And God bless you, and God bless this great state of Colorado. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye. Or bye-bye. Try not to copy Candy. Kind of does a similar. See you next time.